This is Salam Radio, Peterborough's Muslim community radio. Broadcasting on 106.2 FM and online.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
Walaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Welcome back, dear listeners, to Salam Radio. And it is now 4 o'clock at 12th of October 2024. This is This is another episode of Tomorrow's Voice. I am your host today, Abdul-Roqeeb Salman, and I am joined with two distinguished guests, although rarer faces than usual, but alhamdulillah, I'm very happy to have them both with me in the studio this evening. It is Isa, Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam.
And it is Joshua, Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam.
Thank you very much for joining me this evening. Today, we will be discussing a topic that we've touched upon many times before, but we thought let's dedicate a specific topic for it, a specific session for it. And what is today's topic? It is safeguarding the iman of our youth. And we had a little thought of it. It's, alhamdulillah, by yours truly, Isa. He thought of the topic. And as I mentioned, we've touched on it on many episodes before, briefly, the iman of our children, making sure they are brought up in an Islamic setting. But we thought, let's dedicate a whole session to it, inshallah. So this topic, we thought it was important during these times because we've seen a lot of change in the recent years of how our children have been behaving, have been learning, that sort of thing. And you see it, alhamdulillah, all three of us, we try to keep ourselves connected to the masjid. And whether you want to or not, you see how children behave in the masjid, Of course, children will be children, but you can see they kind of bring some of the things they learn, some of the ways they act from schools into the masjid. And that kind of gives us a glimpse of what's happening at school, which we'll touch on quite a bit later on. But because of the different changes that we've been seeing in recent years, we thought this is as good as a time to discuss the strengthening the iman of our youth, because it's in a difficult problem. It's a difficult problem right now because we're trying to obviously connect our children to Islam, but school's doing something completely different. This is what's completely expected for them. You're this age, just try different stuff, do this, do that. We're trying to bring them up in a Islamic setting. So it is definitely tricky. Before I get started, any initial thoughts on this topic by either of you?
Well,
if you don't, it's okay. But I like to ask any initial thoughts before I get to talking.
Obviously we're going to touch on this later on as well, but just to maybe start get the ball kind of rolling. I'm just thinking about the education system first of all, before we move on to anything else. I think that's the most important thing in our children's lives at the moment, in our youth's lives at the moment, because obviously they spend their time there, 6 hours a day, as you said, and then 2 hours after for mosque. That's about it, I think, right?
If that, as
we were discussing,
before,
and I'm just thinking, all the time spent there. Obviously, there's going to be some ideas that kind of stick with our youths, and it's going to influence them massively, and it has influenced them massively. And the amount of time that we spent in the mosque is not enough. I think we need to send them there even more. Send them there for even like for daily prayers. For Isha or for Maghrib or whatever. But they need to spend more time there.
That's true. Any initial thoughts, Joshua?
Kind of the same as what Isa's saying. You need to utilize the time in the masjid. You can probably do that through. Well, there is things going on like youth gatherings. There's events at the weekend. Obviously, you have the madrasa at the weekend. So
there are lots of events in the masjid. I think we just don't utilize them enough.
It's just hard, isn't it? Because the first thing you'd ask someone, a child or an adult, is how is work or how is school. So that's the focus of everyone's life, really. Where it should be. Obviously, Allah and our iman.
How's your state of iman? That should be. Assalamu alaikum, brother. How you doing? How's work? How's family?
Think about it. How often do you say to someone, "How's your hifz going?"
Yeah, exactly.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Oh, did you pray all your 5 salah yesterday? How's that going? Oh, are you making extra dua? We don't ask
did you
these
do
sorts of
dhikr to
things.
this morning or something like that, you know?
Because really, we should be like molding our days and time around salah times.
Yes.
But I don't know. Are people doing that?
It's true. It's true. That's very well said. We should be molding our day around salah, around, the commands of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And also, as you quite rightly said, instead of how are you and how are you doing, house family, housework, house life, how is your state of iman? Has it gotten better or worse since I last saw you? These are some of the questions we perhaps should be posing. But unfortunately, we don't do that. And it's just, I think, creating a mindset where we can start doing that. Because right now, as you said, we're all very, dedicated to this dunya. Oh, when's the next paycheck going to come in?
Yeah.
What's the next bill I need to pay? Of course, those are genuine problems that we have to consider. But first and foremost, when we're resurrected on, Yawm al-Qiyamah, Allah won't ask you, did you pay your bills on time? Allah won't ask you, how much of a dollar figure or salary did you get? No, that's not what you will be asked. Did you pray your salah? Did you believe in me? Did you do fasting? These are the questions that will be asked. And I think it's important that, parents have these conversations with their children. But also it's important for parents to enact this to their children.
Yeah.
Because children, of course, you can say, do the dishes,
Yeah.
goes through one ear, out the other. Children, at a young age, they mimic what they see. If they see you, your 3-year-old, 4-year-old, they see you praying, they'll just naturally want to join you. Whether to them it's still a game or something funny, that sort of thing, that's fine. But instead of you going, pray your salah, and you're not praying salah,
Yeah.
how do you expect your children to do the same?
Because imagine if the masjid was as busy as it was during Ramadan.
Yeah,
Imagine
exactly.
Sometimes weekend you'll go any salah time, it'll be busy. Then you notice that shortly after Eid, it kind of goes down.
There we go.
It does, yeah.
Imagine though, it's true.
Right.
Usually we're all very busy in Ramadan. Everyone's there. It's always jam-packed. After Ramadan, Assalamu alaikum, I'll see you next Ramadan.
That's it.
It does
That's
feel
it.
like that.
That's it. And I was building on what you said about the parents kind of, engaging with them a bit more. They say, education starts first with the parents. It starts with them. They teach you how to.
They're the first teachers.
They're the first teachers, exactly. They teach you how to eat, how to do, how to go toilet, how to do everything. But are they teaching you how to, worship Allah properly? Are they teaching you how to do salah, or are they just leaving it to the mosques to do, like babysitting? Because that's not what the mosque is all about. It's all about mosque is all about building on what you have already taught them. That's what happens. But
Can I quote you on that?
Yes, you can. Yeah, write it down. There you go.
He's gonna pull that quote out.
That's it. Yeah, all the time
On
now.
408 on the 10th of the 12th of October, Isa mentioned this.
That's it. Words of wisdom, man. Words of wisdom.
When it becomes written famous, like, can I hold you onto that quote? You mentioned this. But no, very well said.
Yeah, I just think it's important that we need to teach them the right things first before the mosque teach them, and before the schools start, because that's when the problems start. That's when the problems start.
Of course, I think we need to mention school's not all doom and gloom.
No,
school's not like all bad. They're thinking these three, they don't want me to go to school.
They're all hating on the
Mom,
schools.
Dad, they're saying we shouldn't go to school. That's what they get. No, we're not talking about that. But sometimes you have to ask, is school doing more good than harm in this case? Especially for us trying to become pious Muslims as we grow up. The things that go on in school is very difficult. And the school system, that's a whole different problem and a whole different topic for another time. But no, it is difficult. It is very, very difficult. And I think parents themselves need to have a conversation, need to have a think about, is this the best thing for our children, sending them to school? Because, you send them to school, you're giving them away to a system, and you're taking them back. You're not present in what's been happening, what happened at school. They can perhaps relay some of the messages to you, but it's not a clear picture because you're not there. And of course, we can't be with our children 24/7, but it's very difficult. But we're going off topic. Schooling system, is it right? Is it, different sort of thing? That's a whole different topic for another time. So let's get back on topic, which was safeguarding the iman of our youth, because we are in a bit of an iman crisis, and we wanted to specifically mention about the youth.
Yes.
First and foremost, today's the show is called Tomorrow's Voice, where we focus on the youth, so it makes sense to focus on the youth.
It does make sense.
But secondly, I think there's a distinction between adults and youth. Us as adults and as we grow up, we start understanding our Islam better, and I would like to think we become more firm in our faith, inshallah. That's usually what happens as adults. But when you're children, when you have so many different concepts, so many different ideologies being presented to you, because that's what school does. It presents you lots of different concepts, ideas, or they thought like this, the ancient Romans were this. It gives you so many different ideas and concepts. It's very difficult to then say, is this the right one? This is what I'm being taught at home. This is what school's saying. This is what my friends are saying. There's so many information that we're giving them. It's very difficult for them to sort through it and say, is this the right one? So that is tricky. Did anyone want to say something?
I was just I just wanted to add to that and just say, I mean, the education system, obviously, like you said, it proposes a lot of theologies and different isms, if you will, and I think the main problem there is that obviously, yes, you can learn about those things. That's fine. Because obviously to broaden your knowledge, that's great. It's brilliant. That's what you need to do. But you also need to, the parents especially, also need to ask them about it. Also need to talk to them about it. Oh, so what did you learn? Oh, what did you do here? What did you do there? And then when they answer that, the parents need to start thinking, oh, okay, how can we explain this in terms of Islam? In terms of, okay, how does this relate back to, Allah? How does this relate back to their Islamic education, because if they don't do that, then they're gonna start questioning the isms and all that. They're gonna start searching on Google instead of asking you, and then and then it's just gonna fill their brains with different things, and it's just not. Yeah,
it's true. School should not, especially when they go into school, it shouldn't be in a vacuum. It shouldn't be, you went to school, you came back home, that's it. Don't ask about what happened at school. School should be, in order to help our children, become strong, pious Muslims. What did you do at school, as you mentioned? Okay, school is right here. Did you consider this from an Islamic perspective? Give them that alternative perspective. And, of course, we would like to have our children 24/7 at home and teach them Islam.
Yeah.
But that's not applicable for next to anybody, to be honest. You can't just keep your children around and just, fill their brain with Islam only. Would it be nice to live in such an ideal world like that?
Yes.
But, they'll be sent to school. They'll meet people from different walks of life.
Yes.
And they will have different ideas.
Which is healthy. It's healthy to have.
Once again, we don't think... people listening in, are they just saying no? You're
just to clarify, guys.
It is healthy. They should have these sorts of discussions and different concepts, but the problem is not being led astray by it.
Yeah, I was
That's
going
it.
to say, sure, like Iman is like a tool, right, that keeps you on the straight path. So if you have the right beliefs and your Imam's firm, then any situation you get into, you're going to be okay.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. All the different ideologies come and they're like, oh, choose me, because you know what's true. You know what is haqq. You can keep walking that line. You can, oh, this is what they're saying. I understand where you're coming. And then because you have Islam, you can refute them. You can disagree with them. You can give them the evidence that this is why I think I'm true. But you can still keep walking that line.
Because even like knowledge of Tawheed, that can help you to dismantle a lot of other beliefs. If you're at school and people are teaching you about other religions or, I don't know, other ideologies, maybe like political as well. Then if you have an idea of what Tawheed is, who Allah is, not to like a scholar level.
But even just a little.
Just
a little
bit,
bit,
the basics of like Allah is one. He's got no partners.
That's more than enough, because,
literally.
for example, sometimes, someone can say something to you and you're like, oh my day, Islam doesn't have an answer to that. First and foremost, Islam has an answer for everything. We have to look at our scholars. We have to look at our traditions, that sort of thing. Islam does have an answer. But if you don't know anything about Islam, you would think Islam never has the answer to anything. Well, ask your parents, ask your imams, your scholars, that sort of thing. Islam has the, answer. And we believe that Islam is the straight path. And as you quite nicely mentioned, we're trying to walk that line, but it can be a very difficult line to walk. because, as we mentioned, one idea comes here, and it's just trying to, take you off that straight path. And as we mentioned, this can be very difficult for our youth. It can be quite distressing.
Even like, if you learn about, for example, the story of Ibrahim alayhi salam, because that kind of like compares to
that's a very
at
good
school, because he's in a society where people are worshipping idols and he's different to everyone else. So he's not in an environment where everyone's a Muslim, no one's a Muslim.
Yeah.
So if you learn about stories about like Ibrahim alayhi salam and the Sahaba as well, that's going to help a lot.
Definitely. I mean, you're jumping the gun there, but since you've already mentioned, we'll elaborate here. These are ways of kind of reaffirming and safeguarding the iman of our youth. We wanted to discuss the problem first, but one of the solutions is turn back to the Quran, turn back to the stories of the Prophet, the stories of the Sahaba. As you quite rightly mentioned, Prophet Ibrahim sallallahu alaihi wasallam is a beautiful example.
Yeah.
That's a wonderful example because he was brought up from young in that environment. No one believed in Allah. Nobody knew what Allah was. All they knew were idols. But he questioned, he pondered, he was curious, he asked questions, and he discovered Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and the other trials and tribulation that came, in his life. What a prophet. But very, very well said. These are just this is one way of safeguarding the iman of your children. Keep them connected to the Quran, to the prophets, the Sahaba, and the respected ulama of our tradition, of our religion, because it's difficult. I think it was you that mentioned it before we started the show. Nowadays, if you ask a child, "Oh, who's your superhero?" or "Who's your hero?" or "Who's your idol?" Cristiano Ronaldo, I don't know, name some Marvel characters or that sort of thing.
Yeah.
But in terms of Islamic, who are our heroes? It's Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. It's the Prophet Ibrahim. It's all these prophets. It's the Sahaba. How they were brave. How they were courageous. These are our heroes. But what do we know about them?
Yeah.
Children, they don't know much about these sorts of scholars, and that's why I think it's our Imam. He always suggests that you should have a couple of books in every Muslim household should have a couple of books. He recommended Riyadh al-Salihin. It's a hadith collection, and basically one hadith a day. Discuss it with each other. Oh, this is the hadith. What do you think? How can we apply this in our life? See how your life changes.
Yeah, you'd be surprised how it impacts you. I know when Sheikh does he reads from books after Salah. Some of those narrations he's
always
I've kept it with me till today.
Yeah.
And that's what we need to engage in. Of course, let's not underestimate it. Some people are like, "Oh, it's just one hadith. What's that gonna do?" Consistent. One hadith today, another hadith tomorrow. Try to apply it. So this is one of the many ways that we can look to safeguarding the iman of our youth. Did you want to say something?
No, I mean, I think you covered that pretty well, actually.
Well, not myself. It was
Both of
Joshua.
you were like,
but
yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Please give credit when it's due.
No, yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
Because of Joshua, honestly. It was
No,
really
he should be
good.
sitting here. I told
Yeah,
him
you
he
know
should
what?
be
Yeah.
sitting here. And then he said never. And I said, never say never. No, don't worry. One of these days he'll be like, "Oh, I don't like that Abdul-Roqeeb fella. Out with him and he'll take the place. The way you said the whole...
I mean,
Well,
never say never, right?
right. I think there's the door.
Oh,
Off
wow.
you go.
Okay.
Well, no, alhamdulillah. Back to the topic.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's one of the many solutions we can look to applying. But back to the topic of the problem itself. The problem is that, they've got so many options out there of, this is true, this is that. And one of the things, we've mentioned school being a potential problem, but another big problem is social media.
Yes.
Everyone's connected, and once again, we're not saying social media is bad, terrible, never use it, that sort of thing. Everyone's connected, but because everyone's connected, ideas are also widespread.
I don't know, would you say there's like you said, social media is not good or bad, but would you say that, let's say we took away social media, do you feel like your life would be drastically affected in a negative way?
Ooh.
Well, I mean, I think it would.
We're digressing, but this is a good.
It's a good question. Actually, a really good question.
The brother asked a very good question.
Yes. I think there's both negative and positive repercussions to that. The negative side of it is obviously without social media, there's no kind of connections to other people around the world.
Yeah, the world
in that
becomes
point.
big, but
Exactly.
The world becomes
the
really
world
small.
becomes really small. That's it.
That's all
yeah,
you know.
that's it. But also, there's also positive implications to that. You know, without social media, there's no danger either. You know how social media is very dangerous. It can be very dangerous in many different ways. And so, and so with that danger comes, you know, fearfulness of different things. And so without that, I think people would be a lot safer in that sense. I mean,
but I know what you mean. If it's used correctly, it can
if
be
it's
a
used
very good
correctly,
tool.
yeah, exactly.
It
I
can
mean,
be a really good tool.
especially if you're like posting for dawah purposes,
Yeah.
definitely can reach a whole range of different people, and who knows, they might even become Muslims through that.
That's what I was going to say.
That's
Think
it.
about the amount of people that have accepted Islam because
Through
of
them.
that.
That's it. Yeah, watching a reel or watching a TikTok. And oh
Yeah.
wow, that actually sounds really cool. Let me search more about that.
There we go.
you go.
Yeah.
So, in terms of these
Yeah,
sorts of
good
things, like many
person.
things, everything's you know, a two-sided coin. There's the good,
That's it.
there's the bad, and you know, in our religion, in our tradition, it's you know, take what is good and leave that which is bad.
Yes.
It's as simple as that. Social media has its good side and it has its dark side.
Yeah.
Take the good part and leave the bad side.
Now, I'm guessing there's a lot of like I don't know what you call them, like maybe influencers or like
Yes.
that have kind of like become role models.
That's yeah.
Mm.
No, I agree
And
with
then
that.
because what happens is they might say something good and it looks good on the surface, and then usually, shortly afterwards, it turns out they've done something a bit.
That's it. Yeah, I agree with that. You know, like you said, there are some influencers that they say good things on social media, but
And you think, oh yeah,
that's
look
it.
at the person. Then
you look at the person and you see what they're doing. Oh, you know, criminal record, or he's done this, he's done that, and you're thinking, oh, that was my superhero. And I liked him. He was cool. But then, no, he's not.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much for that ruling. Really sharp there. But no, it's true.
Because how much time do you reckon the youth spend on?
That's it.
That
Like,
is.
I remember a time where social media you didn't have smartphones.
See, that begs another question as well. How much time do you spend on social media, and how much time do you spend on reading the Quran?
This what I'm
Look
saying.
at the comparative differences there. You know, 45 hours, let's say, on social media a week, right? 2 hours on Quran a week. You know what I mean? That's the
'Cause I'm
problem.
guilty sometimes as well. YouTube is like you can get trapped in YouTube.
That's it. Yeah.
I think I was listening to something recently. The person who invented the internet, it's just that. There's two things: www, World Wide Web,
Yes.
web, and internet. Both the word web, net, you know,
Oh,
they convey. It took a little
Yes,
second
yeah.
there. I'm glad you're with me.
I was thinking, where's this going?
Yeah, I remember this. Yeah.
But it's just like, yeah, Abdul-Roqeeb's cooking. He's cooking.
He's cooking something. He's cooking
He's like,
something.
what's he cooking now? He's thinking, where is this going?
We're just both thinking, he's talking gibberish, man.
No,
See,
sometimes
see,
I'm
there was no
slower.
need for that. There's no need for that. You know, there's the door.
Oh, wow.
But no, I'm glad you're with me. I hope. Okay, let me just explain for the listeners and viewers, just in case someone else doesn't get it. So the word net and the word web, they convey feelings of entrapment because once you're in, once you're certain, it can become a rabbit hole.
Yeah.
Oh,
fully.
this, then this, then before you know it, an hour's gone, 2 hours gone, 3 hours gone.
Yeah, you've missed
And
your
what-
Zohar, your Fajr, you've missed all of them because you're too busy on the web, too busy entangled in that web.
It is that we are tangled, and it's not just the youth.
It's
We need to look at
Exactly,
everyone. Yeah,
us as
the
well.
adults. Oh, mom, can we go outside and play?
Yeah, literally.
Oh, I need
Exactly.
to send another email. It's not. It's because, as we said, there's good and bad of everything, but we have to consider this is a net. This is a web. We're literally trapped, and it's so difficult sometimes to realize, wow, 3 hours is gone. It felt like only 10 minutes, and then when reading Quran, 1 minute, feels like 5 hours.
Feels
'Cause
like
when is
forever,
it gonna
yeah.
finish?
That's
I
it.
think in some countries like China, don't they have restrictions on TikTok for youth?
Yeah.
Do
Like,
they? I
they can
didn't know
only
that.
see.
Yeah, I'm
they,
pretty- I'm
they
pretty
can
sure
only
they-
see things that are like
Educational or some-
educational, pro
Yeah.
their like society. So they won't get a lot of the things that people in the West are exposed to.
Wow, you know what? That's actually not a bad idea.
Of course.
Yeah, and even the guy who created TikTok said that he wouldn't allow his children to use TikTok ever.
No, it's not
Really?
just
He's talking
TikTok.
about, but the American government were questioning him on
How
the
often
youth's
do you use-
use of
Yeah.
TikTok and what measures do they have to protect the youth. And he was like, "Yeah, I'd never let my kids use."
It's not
TikTok."
just TikTok though. Many of these
it's mad,
big
isn't it?
social media giants, either they themselves or their children or their close family, they wouldn't allow them to use their created platforms.
Yeah.
Why? Because they know the dangers.
They know,
but they
yeah.
still present it. But what are we all being? What's encouraged by this?
Money,
That's it.
yeah.
The amount of money that they're making from it. Oh, I wouldn't use it, but your children can use it.
Yeah.
I care about my children, but I don't care about your children. So they can use it and they can be damaged by it. But as long as I'm earning this, I'm happy. So, it's a very difficult topic. I mean, we're just about coming to the break. We've already discussed some of the problems that the youth are facing, which is different ideas being presented at school. And we've just started, scratching the surface on social media.
Yes.
And, Brother Joshua was asking some very good questions
Very
about
good
that, which we
questions.
digressed on, but very good questions.
Yeah.
And inshallah, we're thinking after the break, another problem that our youth faces is the use of social media, which we'll discuss a bit more. And then after that, we'll look at the solutions, which
Yes.
we've already mentioned on one of them, which is reconnecting to our past, and alhamdulillah. But no, Jazakallah khair for joining us on the first half of Salam Radio of Tomorrow's Voice. Please join us after the break. Jazakallah khair. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Stay tuned to Salam Radio after this short ad break.
Craving authentic Desi flavors? Look no further than Desi Restaurant. From midday until 1 in the morning, enjoy our homemade specialties that will transport your taste buds. Indulge in tantalizing papri chaat and savor the rich chersi kadahi. Treat your friends to our fresh 1 kilogram chersi lamb handi. Plus, get 2 12-inch pizzas for $11.95. Located at 298 Lincoln Road, we deliver from lunchtime until 1 a.m. Call 01733 555 795 now to order and experience Desi Restaurant's flavors.
At Cake Inn, all our cakes and slices are freshly baked for that delicious taste. At Cake Inn, we bake 100% vegetarian and halal eggless fresh cream cakes. Delicious flavoured cakes for birthdays and weddings, ceremonies and all other occasions, with free customised messages, even balloons and candles too. Order for delivery or collection from Cake Inn, 489 Lincoln Road, PE1 2PE, and your cake could be ready within 2 hours. Find out more and order online at cakeinn.co.uk or call 01733 496 584.
Bite into something wonderfully tasty at Big Mouth, 349 Lincoln Road in Peterborough. Eating in for takeaway or delivery, Big Mouth now have a delicious new menu full of all your favourites. Crispy fried chicken, juicy smashed burgers, finger-licking peri-peri chicken, handmade pizzas, quality doner meat and so much more. So visit the family-friendly Big Mouth restaurant for fantastically fresh food. Call 01733 201020 or visit getbigmouthonline.com.
We know you're concerned about heating your home in this cost of living crisis. We are too. Which is why at Peterborough City Council, we're doing all we can to help. We can support and advise you on ways to save energy this winter and to insulate your home, one of the best and long-term ways to save on energy bills. Visit our website for ideas and links. Find out more at peterborough.gov.uk.
At Master's Pharmacy, we put your health and convenience first. We offer free blood pressure checks and blister-packed medication. With our free same-day prescription delivery service, you can have your medication when you need it. We also offer travel vaccinations, including Hajj and Umrah, along with other services to meet all your pharmacy needs. For more information, contact Master's Pharmacy on 01733 567 208 or visit us at 303 Lincoln Road, PE1 2PH.
Masterminds Tuition Academy is for your high schoolers, your something to provers, your subject strugglers and keen learners, your brave jumpers and fist pumpers. Affordable personalised learning plans are delivered through our centres in schools across Peterborough. But not to worry, we also provide online and home visits with flexible timings. Whether it is maths, English, science or 11 plus, Masterminds is a must. Find us on all socials and visit our website mastermindstuitionacademy.com or call us on 07516 166 003. Masterminds, master the matrix.
For the top pizza in Peterborough, visit Tops Pizza, established in 1988 for delicious pizzas with freshly made dough daily. View the extensive and mouth-watering menu online at topspizza.co.uk, then choose from traditional tasty toppings, something different, or create your own with fresh, 100% halal meats, salads, veg, and a great choice of sides too. Call into Tops Pizza, 52 Broadway, PE1 1SB. Call 01733 913 775 or order online for delivery or collection.
Peterborough's community radio station, Salam Radio, 106.2 FM.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
Walaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. That one, yeah, the blue one down,
Oh, okay, so good, I'm with you. Yeah, I was gonna say it looks a bit different now. Why didn't anybody tell me? Now you've made me look a bit of a muppet. So
It was all planned, guys. It was all planned. We planned this from the beginning. This is it. Our plan has worked.
So when I went out, you were like, "Oh, this is gonna be funny on live radio."
Yes,
just quickly.
me and Joshua were like, "Yeah, this is it."
Don't bring Joshua into this. Don't bring Joshua into this. It was all you. It was all you. Anyways, let's try that again. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Walaikum salam.
Welcome back to Salam Radio, and this is another episode of Tomorrow's Voice. I'm your host for today, Abdul-Roqeeb Salman, and with me in the studio is Brother Joshua. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam.
And, well...
Wow, what? Not even a proper
well, after what you did to me. We have Isa. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam.
And if you weren't here before in the first half of the show, what we've been discussing, and the title of today's show is Safeguarding the Iman of Our Youth. We've currently started touching on the problems that the iman of the youth's iman faces. You know, it's very difficult. They've been presented lots of ideas in school, that sort of thing, and you know, we want to safeguard it, and we will look at some solutions towards the end of the show. So one of the main problems we said was school. You know, school's not all bad. You know, it's good. They get different sorts of ideas being presented. But the problem is when they start incorporating those ideas into themselves and they think, oh, this is why Islam is wrong. And we were talking about how parents need to have these conversations with their children. You know, parents need to be connected in the learning that they're doing. It shouldn't just be, oh, I'll learn everything on parents' evening.
Yes.
You know, which is what, once a term or something?
Once a year.
No, there's a couple of... Well, it's not once a year.
Yeah, it is, yeah.
Anyways, but parents...
I know, I should not have a sister who goes there. Who goes to school.
No,
it's once a year.
So what? Then I'll learn what my kids are doing and how they're doing at school.
Exactly.
So it should be a daily thing. How was your day at school? And linking it back to Islam.
Yeah.
We don't want to go into that too much, otherwise we won't go anywhere. So you can check that on our YouTube, inshallah, to catch up. So one of the other problems, which we just started, discussing, was the use of social media. Once again, social media is not all bad. There's some good bits, and in our tradition, it is take what is good and leave what is bad. And we've just been discussing that, and Brother Joshua was asking some very good questions, which I think was very important to discuss, which is social media good for you? Should we be using it? And you were also mentioning the ratio of social media, internet to, reading Quran or studying, that sort of thing. It's difficult. And I was also mentioning how, there's web, there's internet, it's that feeling of entrapment. And it's so easy to go into a rabbit hole, even if it's for a good thing. For example, I sometimes search some fiqh things on the internet, and then obviously there's so many different differences of opinion. Then you click on this, and then this, and then this, and then you're learning. So it can be a rabbit hole for a good thing or for a bad thing.
Yeah.
So that's one of the things we were discussing. Yes.
I just think it's better to go to the masjid to learn your religion from.
Yeah.
But sometimes that is difficult. For example, you live, 2 hours away from the masjid.
Yeah,
that sort of
true.
thing.
Yeah,
so
true.
once again, there is good and there is bad. Sometimes you need Sheikh Google, because obviously Google is a Sheikh.
Apparently so.
But if you live close to the masjid, Why would you be trying to get your fiqh and your, Islam from the internet when you have, dedicated people there? So it depends on people's circumstances. And just when we were at the break, Isa and I were discussing some other form of social media as well. Did you want to touch on that?
Yes, yeah. So another form of social media is definitely the news. Yeah, that's all I need to say, guys. That's all I need. News, right?
There's so much that we see in the news,
much.
and this is especially the older generation.
Yes.
We might not see it in the younger generation, except when you're like, I don't know, 6 under, when you're watching, cartoons and whatnot. But that's how they, consume information through news.
But now it seems 24/7.
Yeah,
like you can the news. It seems like it's on 24/7.
That's what.
Yeah,
it's always negative stuff in the news. As
yeah,
well.
the amount of Islamophobia that goes on, and that can impact a lot of people. Obviously, definitely impacts the non-Muslims.
If it impacts, let's say the older generations are the one consuming it. Let's say that it still filters and funnels all the way down to the youth.
Yeah.
Let's say Islamophobia is being presented in the news. A non-believer parents or grandparents, they watch it, they mention it to the parents, whether they're discussing it or whether they mention it to the children, it all funnels down, it all impacts back to the youth.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter whether it's social media, where it's more seen as youth engage with it, or the news where the parents might engage with it and it might influence the youth as well. So there's definitely a connection there. I interrupted you. I apologize.
No, it was good. Yeah, it's all good.
Good. Please mention that live. I'll jot that down as well. When interrupting Narisa, he's giving me the go ahead, and then you can't complain saying, "You said it was good that day."
It's okay. I can't even get my words out now. This is.
I guess I win this round.
Wow. Okay, you wait. You just wait.
Whoa.
Okay.
As you were saying, the news.
So as I was saying, Islamophobia is a massive thing, and as you said, just to build up on that, the parents they watch the news, and obviously it will funnel down to the youth as well, and not just the non-Muslim youth, but the Muslim youth as well. It affects all youth because even in schools, it relates back to schools as well. Once the kids know about the news and know about what's happening, the bullying kind of skyrockets almost. They're like, oh, your kind did this or your kind did that, and again it links back to the schools, and it links back to the parents asking the kids as well about the school, about what's happened, about who's been bullying you or whatever, and all that. And
school can be quite not school, but children in general, like all things, it has its good and its bad side. Children can become very nasty very quickly, but children can also be really kind. Like, surprisingly, I'm like, why are you so nice?
Yeah.
But if they've just understood one concept and their parents just like, oh, these type of people are bad, don't associate with them, then you see these sorts of things, bullying, you see these sorts of things like, name calling, this sort of thing. And of course, this is not what we wanted to touch on, but the common phrase where you hear, go back to your country.
Yeah.
This is my country.
Exactly. We were born here,
there's that concept, and obviously that's a whole other topic for another time. But news can impact you. Social media, which we spend a lot of time, both adults and children, perhaps children more so, because that's their form of entertainment.
They were born with it. Yeah.
Social media being their form of entertainment. That's basically it.
Yeah.
I think
you want news through that, don't they?
They also get news through social media.
That's
actually.
it.
That's
You're right. Yeah, even like on Instagram feeds and stuff like that. There's always news. There's always different kinds of.
It's
I didn't
also
even think
there.
of that. Yeah, that's brilliant.
And I think you mentioned it as well. I don't know, 10, 15 years ago, if you wanted entertainment, go outside, kick a ball around.
Yeah.
Now, if you want entertainment and if you want to find out what's happening around the world, that's it.
Yeah.
Gone.
Those were the good old days. You used to kick a ball around.
Calm down.
Back in my day.
That's my line. Thank you very much. That's my line. What, 20? I was going to reveal your age, but let's not do that. Because you're ancient, so obviously.
Wow. Same age as you guys. Right?
It's the right guys?
Right?
I feel like we should also not just do Salam Radio, we should have a little acting impromptu.
Yeah.
I was being sarcastic. Moving right on. I think I've discussed this on the show before. Me and Isa, we just have this unique
We do.
banter that
Unique.
we keep engaging in.
Try it.
What did you just thinking? What am I gotten myself into?
He wants to leave. He wants to go. Let these guys deal with it.
He's just thinking, what's going on here? What's the
We have
beef with each
history.
other? Alhamdulillah. Anyways, let's get back onto the topic. I don't
Yes.
think the listeners and viewers just want
the,
to
view-
know
yeah,
about
the viewers
our
are like, what's happening here? What's going on?
But no, so social media, it does affect our youth, whether for the good or for the bad. That's another thing parents need to come into. They have to discuss, your use of social media, but also their use of social media. If they see their parents, engaging in social media constantly, this is okay then. My parents are doing it.
Exactly.
I should
you know,
be, and as we said, children imitate.
Yeah, as they say, monkey see, monkey do, right? That's
You
it.
see?
You see,
And
you do it.
Mm.
Yeah, that's why it's so important that when parents set an example for their kids, it should be an Islamic example. You know, if the children should see anything from the parents, it's them praying, it's them reading the Quran, it's them, reading the Hadith book. Reading anything about Islam, though. You know.
Well, you can read about.
Well, obviously, yes,
See,
you can read
see
other
remember
stuff.
caveat. We don't want them
that's it.
thinking,
No, yeah.
Islam, only Islam. What's
That's
going
it. Yeah. I mean, obviously, yes. Read about other things. Read,
But
different literatures
at
if you
least
wanted
reading
to.
rather than just.
That's it. Yeah.
But then, to be honest, you can also read on social media and on the internet, but that's a whole different sort of
but
thing.
as long as they're seeing you do something productive, doing something that means something. But obviously, in an Islamic perspective as well, obviously, as long as they see, if the children see you, praying, reading Quran, they're gonna copy that. They're gonna do that. They're gonna say, if they see you go to the mosque, can I come with you? Can I do what you're doing?
And get them excited
And get them
to go to the
excited
masjid.
about it, yeah.
It's not like, we have to go to the masjid and we have to pray. No,
Exactly,
we're going to the masjid. We're going to meet your friend here. We're going to do this. And then after that, if you want, after the masjid, let's go and get ice cream or something. Or
That's it.
Get them excited to go to the masjid. Some kids, I don't know what kids, but they're excited to go to school. They're like, school.
That's it.
That's it.
Exactly.
They've got friends.
Yeah.
I think the most important thing is that when obviously the most important thing when you go to mosque is learning about Allah and about Islam. But I think a close second would be having friends there, having someone to talk to, having someone to spend time there with, because that's the memories that you're going to make.
I mean, Islam's about community, isn't it?
Yeah,
It is, exactly, community.
And of course, we've already talked about how problems with school, but our masajids, they're not perfect. They're a work in progress. We've been working on it. Some masajids are very much like salah only. That's it.
That's it. Yeah.
Youth, when they're older, they can, but until then, salah only. We should obviously try to accommodate the youth, because if we as the masajid, if we as the Muslims don't accommodate them, then who will?
Yeah.
And the people who will then accommodate them will say, why did you then go with them? Because you didn't provide me a space
That's it.
for me to feel, happy to go
Welcomed.
to. Yeah,
Yeah.
very
definitely.
well said.
It needs to be a
Welcome.
space that you feel like you want to stay there.
Exactly.
To feel part of a brotherhood, part of a community where you can be
Yourself,
you
and
can be
people
yourself.
care for you.
Exactly.
People
Go back to
genuinely
the
care for
Sunnah and the Sirah of the Prophet.
Sallallahu alaihi wasallam.
The masjid was like, they spent a lot of time there, right? It wasn't just for
It wasn't
salah.
just for salah, yeah.
yeah.
Literally,
They
it's
eat there, sleep there.
exactly.
They play there. They wrestle there.
They wrestled there,
Exactly.
They laughed around and
They
joked
laughed.
there. It was, I think, a situation where it was the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He was sitting, and the Sahaba, they were just talking about the days of Jahiliyyah when they were ignorant and the things they did, and they were laughing, and the Prophet didn't tell them off because people. This is the masjid. This is your safe space. This is where you're trying to connect with Allah, but you connect with other people in that area. It shouldn't just be, we have to go to the masjid. It's we get to go to the masjid.
Yeah.
What an honor, what a privilege that is.
See, it comes down to that thing as well, where Islam is easy. It's
Yeah,
easy.
it's not complicated.
It's not hard. A lot of people think it's hard. That's why people think, we have to go to mosque, we have to pray, we have to do this, we have to
They've
do
already
that.
got the notion of, it's going to be difficult.
Exactly.
No, if you change your mindset,
Islam is easy. It's easy. It's supposed to be easy. That's why Allah created Islam for it to be easy for us. because so
It's not meant to be
it's
difficult.
not meant to be difficult. No.
Otherwise, if it was difficult,
Everyone would-
this was
no
a tricky
one-
one. Move on to a different ideology.
Exactly.
it's
No one would be
very
Muslim
simple.
if it was too difficult.
But that's what when you like start reading hadith and stuff, you realize that Islam is not just like spiritual, religious, like purely. There's other aspects
There
to
is,
it. Like,
yeah.
And it's not just rules and regulations
This
either.
one's- yeah, it's not-
it's not
Yes,
just
yeah.
okay, pray 5 salah every day, wake up with this. It's not just
because if
that.
you focus on it like that, it's going to become a bit like it's not going to be appealing. It's going to
No,
be like
it's too demanding. Yeah.
That's when I think, dawah, for example, we all probably engage in dawah in all sorts of our life. We don't go to someone who comes to learn about Islam. Right, here's the manual of Islam, here's the book, here's the rules, read it, and that's it.
No.
We don't go to them, Islam is, you have to do
this, do that,
do that,
yeah.
do that. Oh, you can't do that, you can't do that. No. We first explain who is Allah. We discuss Tawheed, the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and I feel like every now and then we just need to do that with ourselves as parents, and but also with our children. Who is Allah? What do you know of Allah?
Like first 13 years, it was just Tawheed, wasn't it?
It was.
Exactly,
We
yeah.
weren't like praying 5 times a day.
Yeah.
and-
When they went to Medina, that's when the rules and regulations started.
Yeah.
The Prophet, when he was giving da'wah to people, he made sure that Tawheed, the strength and reliance in Allah, was firm before any of these sorts of things. So, yes, for parents, it's easy to say, pray your salah. But first, we need to ask, who is Allah? Do your children know Allah? Tell children to, for 5 minutes, okay, tell me about Allah.
Yes.
10 seconds, Allah is this. We're done.
They
We're
start to
quiet.
get difficult.
Tell
yeah,
me,
yeah.
give them 5 minutes. Tell me about Cristiano Ronaldo. Tell me about X. Tell me about Y. And they could go on for an hour.
Yep.
These are the things we need to start considering.
Yeah. Sheikh was talking about Iman actually on Friday and about the reliance on Allah.
Yeah.
And he was saying almost like when bad things happen to us in our life, we go to other means first. But first of all, we should be relying on Allah.
Yes.
Because if you're aware of the attributes of Allah, then you're aware that obviously He's the King of the dominion, the healing, the one who listens. So he was speaking on the part of like when you're ill, before going to like paracetamol and stuff, also make dua
Always
first.
yeah.
Before seeking help from the creation, seek help from the creator.
But that's something that you might forget often. So you need reminding, like as a
And that's why
person
we
that-
say you should be having these sorts of, I think it's halakat, at home, just having a little gathering, a little, let's discuss what's going on in Islam, a bit of it's just something to, what's the word,
Remind
re-strengthen.
ourselves,
And remind ourselves,
especially
about
for,
Allah subhanahu wa
especially
ta'ala.
for adults as well, because obviously adults, we've been in this dunya a lot longer than kids have. So we start to think, the dunya, that will help us.
Dunya.
Yeah, that's
because you
it.
think like when you get sick, you think the doctor's helping you.
Exactly, the doctor's
When
help.
you need help, you phone the police or like I don't know. When you like, so you think these people are solving your issues, but realistically, they're not doing anything.
I mean, obviously, go to the doctors if you do need
Yeah,
help.
100%,
Ring the police
Once
if you need help.
again, it's like, no, I'll have to. I think there was we don't have time. There was a story of why not? Literally a little conversation in my head. It's like, do we have time? Should we not? So there's a story in which there was a man stranded at sea, and he was stranded at sea, and basically he was making dua. God help me, and someone came and said, let me help you. And they said, no, I'm asking God to help me. Kept it going.
Yeah.
And the man drowned and said, you didn't help me.
Yeah.
That was my help. He's sending
Exactly.
people. So obviously, Allah through means, through a doctor, through police, through whoever, your parents to help you, Allah through means helps you.
Teachers.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what it is. But make dua first,
dua
And it's very difficult sometimes. I think you're right. We're so used to asking the creation for help, the doctor help me, parents help me. Make dua, even if it's just 10 seconds, and just say, oh Allah, make it easy for me. Then look to, paracetamol and that sort of
But
thing.
it's same with school. Like, say, like a child goes to school and they want to do a job. Like, say they want to be, a lawyer. So, like, I want to help people escape from bad situations, or I want to like help restore justice. But they're not thinking maybe that it's not me that's doing that. It's Allah. So if you have that concept of like
Allah
that's
is
doing everything.
Allah is in control of everything, and I think I mentioned it before we started the show. We need to try to instill a sense of Tawheed and a sense of Allah is with us in our children for constantly. We need to constantly instill that concept of Allah is with us. I was mentioning when I was learning when I was younger, GCSE stage, and I was doing sciences, I was really interested, especially like chemistry. Whenever you get to do, chemistry experiments, everyone's always excited. Like, instead of just reading books all day and understanding concepts, you get to actually, put chemicals together and change color and do this and fizz, and that's always exciting. But the way school taught it, I know we're going back to school, but the way school taught it, it was, this just happened because the laws of the universe.
Because you have things like evolution. As soon as that comes into play, maybe someone that is raised Muslim, they're thinking, am I right, am I wrong?
Exactly. Because that's how school teaches it in a secular, manner. But, but when we instill that this chemical reaction didn't happen without the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It happened because Allah willed it to happen. If you instill that concept of Allah is, willing everything to happen, it just changes the mindset slightly.
It does.
And that little shift in mentality is sometimes all we need. Just start seeing everything from an Islamic, from a religious perspective.
But that's what Iman is, isn't it? Like, because you could have someone, I don't know, do you reckon you could have someone that could, I don't know, read a lot of Quran, but small Iman, compared to someone that maybe can't read as much, but because they have the reliance on Allah and they understand that Allah.
It is possible. You could just be reading so that other people can say, he's reading, or for the sake of reading, but not understanding what you're reading.
Yeah, reading it for other people.
And having a weak Iman. Because actually, no, it is very possible, because I think one of the questions that we ask on Yawm al-Qiyamah, on the Day of Judgment, is to scholars. They'll be like, they'll be thrown to Jahannam, they'll be thrown to hell, and they'll be asking why. I did X and Y for you, I taught your religion for you, I was a scholar for your religion, but it wasn't for Allah.
That's scary.
It was for people. It really is quite scary, because
the intention.
You start questioning yourself now.
Exactly, it's our intention, as you mentioned. Exactly,
that's the thing that's lacking.
Who and what are we doing this for? These are the questions we have to ask ourselves.
Yeah.
Anyways, we've discussed school being sometimes a problem to the iman of our youth, and we've discussed social media, news, that sort of thing, TV, what they consume. And I think whether we wanted to or not, we've kind of started giving solutions. One of the things we said is reconnecting back to Islam, reconnecting back to our tradition, the Anbiya, the Sahaba, the early Muslims, the trials and tribulations they went through and how they persisted in their religion. So that's one form of...
especially the scholars. That's one thing I've recently been thinking about, is some of the struggles they went through.
What was that?
But I've been thinking about some of the trials and tribulations some of the scholars have been through.
They have been through prison. They've been through so much stuff. You're thinking, we have it easy. That's it. But through what the Anbiyas have gone through. So that's one way. Reconnecting to our religion through, people. This is role models. These are our role models. Another thing, I think we just... I can't remember it now. We just discussed it like a couple of minutes ago. It's escaped me. But another thing that we can be doing is also reconnecting, but through Allah, straight to Allah, which is what? Dua. Praying your salah. Two rakah, nafil, and just saying, oh Allah, I'm your slave, I'm your servant. Help me, guide me. And that's what we do in Surah Al-Fatiha. Ihdina as-sirata al-mustaqim. Guide us to the straight path. Because the straight path, though it's straight, it's not very easy.
No,
it's not very easy. It's very difficult.
I think there's a lack of there's people that are underestimating the power of dua. I think that's the problem here,
there is a problem.
Because people think, it's
just dua.
It's just dua. It doesn't do anything. I think they think that
if I'm
actually doing something, then it will work. But I mean, they don't have that reliance on Allah. They're making dua, and I know they've made it like several times.
And like, nothing's
all
happening
throughout, and then nothing happens. But then they just give up, and then they just like, I'm just gonna start being depressed, and because it's not gonna work. But in reality, you have to keep going. You have to keep trying, because you know how many years the prophets made dua. How many years Prophet Nuh alayhi salam made dua
and gave
for his
dawah.
people?
950 years.
150
and still
years.
Only a handful of people.
People are making dua for like what, 2-3 weeks? Done.
I
give up.
Not even that.
I give up. Not even that. A day. I give up.
And then they, for some reason, expect it to want it now and then.
Exactly.
Don't get it wrong. I'm guilty as well.
Yeah, we're all guilty.
No, we're all guilty of it.
We're
We're all guilty of it. But we have to remind ourselves that that, you know, the prophets, they went through all this. They asked for years and years and years, and we're only doing it for a day.
And yet we expect
and we expect miracles in a day. That's not going to happen. You need that reliance on Allah. You need. I know things, you know, may seem bleak, you know, but you know, Allah always helps. You know, look at Prophet Nuh alayhi salam. Allah helped him with the flood. Look at Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salam. Allah helped him with
in the fire when he was being thrown.
Yeah, exactly.
There's so many examples, which
So many.
goes back to one of the ways of safeguarding the iman of our youth. Connect to the stories of the Anbiya, of the Sahaba. You learn things from them, but you can also learn things to implement in your life. Oh, Prophet Ibrahim was like this. He didn't give up. Oh, this is my situation. Let me not give up. You know, you can try to connect
Draw
with
parallels
that.
between them.
Exactly.
Yes.
Draw parallels between them and try to act in a way that, oh, so they've done that. Let me just put that into my life. And that's both for the parents, you know, perhaps first of all, but also for the youth. If you do it, then they'll start thinking, oh, okay, my parents, something bad has happened, but my parents aren't panicking on that sort of thing. They went straight away to, you know, make dua, or they went straight to pray. When in the future something bad happens to me, I'll do the same. So it's that learning from parents.
Also, like the pillars of Islam, Iman as well. Because if you're aware of like the Day of Judgment, the trials that are going to happen on the Day of Judgment and stuff like the angels.
It's enough to shake anyone.
Yeah.
By knowing the Iman and the articles of faith and reminding yourself of that.
And instilling that in the children early on. I think that's
like
important.
Sorry.
No, carry on. Sorry.
Even like
Fine, I'll talk then.
Even like descriptions of Jannah and Jahannam.
Yes, you're
like
right.
If you're not aware of like actually what is
what
in
is Jannah? What is in Jahannam?
Why
it's just Jannah.
You need to know what you're fighting for.
No, exactly, because you got a goal then.
Exactly, and that's what makes it easier. That's what makes it easier.
Look at you two go. A joint book by both of you. That's quite nice. Yeah.
Actually, all right. We can do that.
See, I don't like the way you do that.
It's a good idea. I think we should do it.
Yeah. Anyways, so me and you will write a joint book. Anyways, I'm kidding.
I'm the one for
Jazakallah khair for joining us. Please